So, hi, Dave Klima and I, Preston Sandlin here. We've developed a new platform to help you sell more houses faster, quicker, for more money, and help you keep the leads. So, Dave, tell us a little bit about the program.
So the program is going to be called InspectedHouses.com, and we basically have developed this to try and help end some of the frustration and the anger and the anxiety that's often found in the home buying and selling process. You know, currently, a lot of times houses are put on the market, a buyer comes along, then inspections are performed, and then, you know, negotiations happen again and deals can fall through. And that's a frustrating thing. Also, sometimes unexpected repair costs are found for the seller, and that's a, you know, upsetting thing too. And quite often, as a real estate agent, we've found, and you found this in your market, that agents will actually take money out of their own commissions just to get a deal to close. And we feel that there's a better way to sell real estate, and it starts with having houses pre-inspected.
Well, tell us some of the advantages of pre-inspections, Dave.
So pre-listing inspections are a really good concept because it protects the seller from unforeseen costs. You know, if they know about things that are wrong up front, they can maybe build those repair costs into the price of the house. They can do some repairs themselves. They can shop around and maybe get the best repair pricing that's available in their market. So it's really good for them. But it's also really good for a buyer, because if a deal falls through, a buyer is not going to be able to recoup the money that they just spent on the home inspection fee, maybe the appraisal fee, the time that they spent away from work and all the money that they're out for that. So it's a really good concept to have the houses inspected before they're put on the market, and it just protects a lot of different people involved in the transaction. And realtors will benefit greatly from this program.
Well, tell me this, Dave. In my experience, first of all, I agree with everything you said about the advantages of pre-inspections. You get multiple estimates on the repairs that need to be made, and you take all the surprises, or you fireproof the deal. The problem has been okay, so I as an agent get this listing, and then I immediately tell them you need to get a pre-listing inspection, which is $400 or $500, and then they're going to have to spend another $4 or $5 grand doing repairs. That's kind of tough for me when I just went in competition with 3 other agents to get this listing, and I'm worried that they're going to be like, wow, is this the person we should have gone with, because they're hitting us with all these expenses. Now, I know, and you know, it's going to save us on the back end, but how does your program overcome that that hurdle of paying for the pre-listing inspection?
All right, so first of all, let's talk about the repair cost. The repair costs are going to happen whether it's a pre-listing inspection or a buyer has an inspector come along. Those things are going to be found, and that's really what has been the cause of all the angst and anxiety in the real estate transaction is, you know, sellers being blindsided by cost, obviously, and then having to pay for repairs that they weren't counting on. So to know about these things up front, that's an advantage or value in and of itself, and then obviously being able to make the repairs yourself if you know about them up front. Once you accept an offer, now you have to use maybe a licensed plumber or electrician or all of that. But now, to get back to the point of paying $400 or $500, if you're a seller living in a house for 20 years, you think you know everything that's wrong with the house. What we've done is we've created a platform to help give you some value for the pre-listing inspection fee that you're paying. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you an opportunity to load a report up into a national website, and that report will be available for potential buyers to come in and look at and to purchase. And every time one of those reports is purchased, you get the money for that. It's your report. You've already paid the inspector for it, so you get to recoup
the seller.
The seller does. Yeah, the buyer buys the report. The seller will get the money for the report that is basically paid for, okay? And also, we're going to have offers from national partners and companies to offset the cost of the inspection. And there's different companies out there that will be offering like $550 in value if you go with them, or the inspector himself and the realtor herself or himself can basically set up their own little contracting network in their own towns to offer an unlimited value. And in my market, I have over $1,000 worth of contracting value for my sellers that do pre-listing inspections currently.
So let me see if I got this straight. If I'm a real estate agent, I am telling my sellers that I recommend that they get this pre-inspection because of the advantages of, working all these kinks out, any potential problems down the road. but it's going to cost them $400 or $500. But there is value from these national companies that would offset that. To speak a little bit more about that. How exactly does that offset that?
So one of the companies that could be on the platform, and this is all a seller-driven platform. So whatever the sellers want, they get. The real estate agent cannot share the information of the seller or pick the deals for the seller, and the home inspector cannot either. So whatever the seller feels is the best benefit for them, they get to pick. So one of the national partners is called Porch, and these are strategic partners. They're not, partners in the business per se, but they're strategic partners offering value to the seller. And Porch will give a $350 Porch Assistant service, which is basically someone to help the seller get repairs made and line up the repairs that get made. Plus, they'll give $200 in handyman services. So maybe some roofing work needs to be done, you can save $25 on that. Or, some electrical work needs to be done, you can save some money on that. So they're going to have that perceived $550 value from that. But also, you as an inspector or the realtor, you can get your own local contractors to give values or discounts for that seller. You may have some local, plumbing companies, roofing companies, siding companies, window companies, doesn't matter. And they can give a value. And really that value that you can get for the seller is unlimited. I mean, it's up to you and how much effort you put in to help building up this contractor network. And then the other thing is warranties. A lot of times warranties are sold as or offered as part of the inspection process. And so what we're lining up is warranty companies that some of these warranties are really awesome warranties. We have some warranties on this platform that are longer than anything on the market. Some of them cover mold and termites and radon systems and underground sewer lines. So some really high-end warranties, but we've negotiated really good deals for sellers so they can get listing coverage, warranty coverage for free during the listing period. And normally warranty companies charge anywhere from $70 to $100 just for that. And we've negotiated a deal where they can get that for free.
All right, let me ask you something. I think we've jumped that first hurdle that we brought up, the cost of the pre-inspection, because we're offering value with a national company to offset that. There's potential warranties here. I like that. I think that's great. If I'm a potential seller, I'm like, hey, that answered my objection. But what if you get a seller who just wants to do it normal, they want to pay for it, and they don't want any of this? Do they have the option?
Well, absolutely. So the seller is always going to pay the home inspector at the time of the inspection. I mean, that's just how it works. That's how the industry works. And all these values that we're offering to offset that cost, is good for the sellers. And remember, every report that gets sold on this website, kind of like Carfaxes get sold or whatever. So every report that gets sold, that money goes to the seller. So that's offsetting the cost and giving them real cash value. But if they choose not to take any of these offers, whether they don't want to use an offer by one of these national partners, they don't have to do that. They can just accept the money from the reports being sold as compensation or help them offset the cost of the pre-listing inspection fee.
So if they select that they don't want to get estimates for the repairs and getting that, they will get no calls from any kind of salespeople.
Absolutely. Something in this age of data sharing, which obviously we use Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter, and we're sharing our data all over God's green earth, right? With this platform, the only way that the data gets shared from the seller is if they decide to tell a company, hey, I would like your services.
You get estimates, right?
Exactly. I'd like to get estimates from you. This platform is not going to take the customer's information and sell it in any way, shape, or form, or try to make any kind of back-end money off of the seller's information. That's just not going to happen.
Okay, so the report is loaded. The seller has the option whether they want to take those advantages of getting the repairs, discounts off the repairs. That's their choice. The reports are there for potential buyers to download, correct? All right, potential buyers come in. Let's say the house is priced right, it's in a good neighborhood. 8 people download the report. So take me through how does that happen? What exactly happens, the mechanics and the information, where does that go, and the people who are downloading the report?
Okay, so first of all, This is going to be a really valuable site for potential buyers because these are pre-listing inspections. These are houses that are inspected before they hit the market. And, the sellers want to find out what's wrong so they can be proactive and make repairs, and in interest of full disclosure, let everybody know what's going on. And in this market, the inventory is really low, right?
Right.
And a lot of times people are going to sites like Zillow or Realtor.com and looking for houses. Well, those houses are already in the MLS, and sometimes they're already picked over or they already have offers on them. Well, with our site, people are going to find it valuable because they're going to come and get the inside information of houses that are going to hit the market. They're not on the market right now, but they're going to. And not only are they going to get that information, but they're going to have an opportunity to actually see the house, see the home inspection report, and kind of know some things about the house. And if you live in a big metropolitan area, say like Chicago or Atlanta or LA, and you have to fight traffic to go look at houses, and then you show up at the house and you find out all of a sudden the water heater's maybe 20 years old, or maybe it has a hollow block foundation versus poured concrete, you're going to walk away from that if you want the new water heater, or if you want a poured concrete foundation versus hollow block. Well, if you know about these things up front, maybe you don't spend all your time even looking at them in the first place. So it's going to be valuable for them on that aspect of it.
But let me ask you this: what happens with the information of the people who actually download the reports?
So what's great about this whole concept is when a potential buyer comes in and buys the report, then their information, this potential buyer information, is given to the realtor for free. And unlike, with maybe Zillow or whatever, where they capture information and generate a lot of activity and then they sell the leads back to the real estate agents, the realtor is going to get this potential buyer lead for free. And what's really awesome about this information that they're going to get from the buyers is, they'll have their name, their phone number, their email address. They'll know if they're working with another real estate agent, which is really important. But then also for safety purposes, they're going to be able to see a picture of that potential buyer and know what they look like. So if they go to an appointment, they're going to know if they're meeting the right person. They're also going to have links to their social media, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, so they can kind of see what that person is all about. They will also, for safety purposes, be able to click on a button and have a free, sex offender report ran on that person if they're really worried about it. And they can even run a criminal background check report if they want to. Also, for marketing purposes, a real estate agent might even, if the data is captured, know how much a potential buyer is making, whether they're making 20 grand a year or 100 grand a year. And we feel that that is a lot of valuable information that the real estate agents are going to be able to get for free if they participate in this pre-listing platform.
Cool. I think it's a win-win-win, and I think everybody wins. And let me sum it up by saying the seller wins by selling their house faster and for more money and not being hit with late charges, or the buyer getting them down on the price with inspection items found on the traditional inspection. That's how the seller wins. The buyer wins by, if they're looking at two houses, one's been pre-inspected and they don't lose their due diligence. They already know. They know what they're looking at there. So that's how the buyer wins. I think the realtor wins by everybody who downloads well, first of all, they win by helping their seller and selling the house faster and better. And so they're going to tell all their friends and family. But not only that, everybody who downloads the report, they're able to follow up with that, help sell that house, and potentially find some buyers that don't have a real estate agent. We talked about the buyer. The home inspector wins because they are helping the real estate agent out, and it's better for the consumer that we have a pre-inspection, and then we're also going to recommend an inspection, a buyer's inspection. So each house essentially gets inspected twice, so that's better for the consumer, and it helps people make a more educated and informed choice. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And in my market, I've been doing this program kind of on a manual basis versus, digitized basis, which we're going to do. And we haven't had one deal fall through in all the years that we've been doing it because people know about things up front, and sellers are able to be proactive and get things fixed. And also, eliminates the buyers and sellers not agreeing on, things that are going to, get repaired. Sellers are basically able to say, this is everything that I know that's wrong with the house. I fixed this, and this. I'm not fixing anything else. Make your offer accordingly. So real estate agents are going to love this whole process because it almost turns it into an as-is deal a lot of times.
Cool. Well, Dave, if they want to know more about the program, whether they're a real estate agent or a home inspector, where should they go? Can they contact us? How would they get in touch if they're interested in knowing more about the program?
Well, they can go to inspectedhouses.com and leave an email there, and then myself or someone at inspectedhouses.com will get back with them.